Victor Wembanyama already on track to become the next GOAT in the NBA and surpass Michael Jordan, LeBron James? Is that his trajectory for his NBA career? The number one pick out of France has been putting up historic numbers for the San Antonio Spurs, both offensively and defensively. And today I want to go through his numbers, how it stacks up against Michael Jordan, against LeBron James, in the current state of NBA stars, to see where he really is in comparison to everybody else. What he's been able to do on the offensive end and defensive end has been unheralded as a rookie. When you're 7'4", it can move like Wembanyama can with a handle of a guard. You're going to turn heads and make waves throughout the association. But that defense, man, is what really elevates him to be potentially one of the best players of all time. And we're not only through 60 games in his NBA career. So before we dive into the numbers and compare him to MJ, LeBron, and some other NBA superstars, is Victor Wembanyama the best rookie of all time? Get in the comment section and let me know if he is the best rookie of all time. I'll say this, I don't think he's the best rookie of all time, because if you take Wilt Chamberlain's numbers at face value, well, he did average 37 and 26, I believe, in his rookie season. So no one's catching Wilt Chamberlain. We'll also get to MJ in a second. But it is interesting to look at Victor Wembanyama's first 55s of his game's career in comparison to LeBron James' first 55 games. Both average about the same amount of points. Obviously, Wemby's rebounds are going to be astronomically higher. You see LeBron leading the facilitation part of this with more assists. But the interesting part is the efficiency that Wembanyama is playing with. 47% from the field, 33% from three, which is only rising as time goes on. And then LeBron, not as much. But the defense is what makes a difference. You see the numbers at the bottom. 3.4 blocks, which leads the NBA by a wide margin, and 1.3 steals for Victor Wembanyama. I also do have to say this and give Bron some slack here. I don't want to completely slander him and say Wemby had a better rookie year. I think you have to take into account how much better the Cavs team was compared to this year's Spurs teams. This is just pace. I can't obviously tell you what the Spurs' final record is going to be, but if you took their current win percentage and put it up to 82 games, they'd be finishing 17 and 65. The Spurs will likely be picking inside the top 5 of the NBA draft once again, with a high possibility of it being in that top 3, as they currently hold the worst record in the Western Conference. So we compare it to that LeBron James rookie Cavaliers team. No, they did not make the playoffs. They missed it as the 9 seed, but they went 35 and 47. And although that's not really good in its own right, it's certainly better, actually 2 times better than, at least in the win column, than that LeBron James, or excuse me, than the Spurs win column this season. Now let's look at MJ here, the real GOAT if you ask me, because his rookie season was absolutely fantastic. 28 points per game. He played all 82, by the way, which is one of the more impressive things. I know it's a different game back then to now, and no one really plays 82 games now other than Mikal Bridges, but look, MJ doing that is impressive. He shot over 51% from the field. He did it all in the glass, assisting, also averaged 2.4 steals per game. MJ came out of the North Carolina Tar Heel product and absolutely led the Bulls to the playoffs, actually, in their rookie season. Let's compare now the Spurs to that Bulls team, right? The Spurs, 1765 pace. Bulls, an 84-85. Sure, they were not a 500 or better basketball team, but they did have a better record than that 03-04 Cavs team, and they did, in fact, make the playoffs at the 7th seed. But I do have to make note here, it's a little bit of a fraudulent. There's obviously 15 teams in each conference, making 30 total teams right now. When Michael Jordan's Bulls, as a rookie, made the postseason, well, there was only 11 teams in the East. 12 in the West, by the way. Why was there an odd number of teams at any point? How is that even feasible? I don't know what's going on in the NBA around then. We're going to break down more on Victor Wembanyama, but first, let me tell you about Prize Picks, the sponsor for today's video. It's daily fantasy made easy. It's daily fantasy made fun, and it is the most safe and largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and they're offering a ton of new things on a daily basis, which is just so cool. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with NBA, NHL, college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. They even offer you, which is my favorite part, injury insurance, so that if your entries stay in play, even if one of your players get injured for basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player projection won't count against you and the rest of your entries stay live. I'm actually going to head to the Heat Mavericks game in Dallas later today, so I'll be in person. You know, I had to spice it up by playing some Prize Picks. I'm taking the more than on Jimmy Butler and Luka Doncic, 56.5 points combined. Listen, Luka might be able to get that by himself, if we're going to be honest. He's been playing some bad basketball. The Mavs have been playing bad. I could see a Luka Doncic snipe show today. I'll take the more on Terry Rozier, 5 assists, and I'll take the more on Josh Green, 6.5 points, which is a little goblin for you, which lowers the total money you can win, but it also lowers the risk. You can take picks like mine, Meek Mill, Sugar Sean O'Malley. You can do it all here at Prize Picks, which makes it the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. So download the app today, use code CLNS, and get that first deposit match that they're offering to you up to $100. You can also go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. That link will be in the description and comments of today's video. I'm not sure if Wembanyama will become the GOAT because it's going to be hard to surpass Michael Jordan. And think about what LeBron James has done in his career. And, well, people have not even been unanimous in terms of passing MJ with LeBron. But I will say this. He could be the greatest defensive player in NBA history. And I don't think I am overstating that based off what we have seen him do as a rookie. So far, he has 3.4 blocks per contest. That leads the league by 0.7 blocks over Walker Kessler and Brook Lopez. But look at some of those other names. You got the other talented rookie, Chet Holmgren, at 2.6. Anthony Davis at 2.4. He is clearing the field by a wide margin. And you see a name that isn't on this top 5 list? Oh yeah, it's the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, who is known as the best shot blocker and rim protector in the NBA. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I think Wembanyama will already be labeled as the best shot blocker and rim protector in the NBA after a mere 1 season in the association. Oh, but that's not where it stops with Wemby's defense. He's also 12th in the NBA in terms of steals per game with 1.3 a contest. His arm length is what really makes the difference. It allows him to get to some shots he should not be able to block. It also allows him to create more chaos in the passing lanes for opponents. When they try to swing it across the court, Wemby can get up there, get his hands in the passing lanes, and get out and run. Now, I will say this, I don't want to overhype him too much in terms of defense because, as Draymond Green pointed out the other day, well, the Spurs are still 24th in the NBA in defense, but when you look at what he can do on a personal basis on that side of the floor, it is nothing short of phenomenal. More to get to here in a second, but I want to make sure you subscribe to the channel because, listen, as we approach the NBA playoffs, we'll ramp up our NBA content, and our boss has said here at Chat Sports, the more subscribers we get on these NBA videos equals more NBA content, whether you want segments like these, the latest rumors, playoff previews, breakdowns, watch parties, whatever you want. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll get. Now let's look at some advanced numbers here because this is what they call PI. What is that, you ask? Well, it's called Player Impact Estimate. And no, it's not a perfect science, but I think it does a good job of showing what a specific player can bring to their individual team. No surprise, Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic are the top 2 on the list with Giannis, Shea, Domantas Sabonis, AD, LeBron. And then you have Wemby slotting in there at 8. And if you want to dismiss the advanced analytics and these random-ass stats, that's cool. But you can't deny if you just took Wemby off that list and just showed the other 9 guys alongside him, well, that's a pretty good list to be on when you have the top players in the NBA. And Wemby has just been awesome this season, right? 20-plus points per game, 10 rebounds. He's already averaging a double-double. You know what he can do on the defensive end as we laid it out. But the part I want to kind of talk about right now is, well, he was shooting sub 30% from beyond the arc. And he was taking a lot of threes as well, which was kind of a concern. But now it's no longer a concern. Over Victor Wembanyama's last 10 games for the Spurs, he is averaging more than 5.4 three-point attempts a night. What is his shooting percentage from beyond the arc in those last 10 games? 42.9%. Obviously, it's just a small sample size of 10 games, but the guy is 7'4", blocking 3.4 shots a night, isolating on the other end, and he's shooting 43% from three on 5 attempts a night over the last 10. Yeah, this is one-of-one stuff here, and you have to ask, he can absolutely be someone that wins multiple titles and cements himself as one of the greatest players of all time. The question is, will the Spurs be able to get it done? Because their roster right now is a long way from being complete. I think they have nice pieces. Obviously, Wemby manning the middle. I like Trey Jones as a rotation point guard. That's just me. I'm also a big fan of Devin Vassell. I think he can be a third option on a title team. And if you call me crazy, Chris Middleton was technically a third option on a championship team. And I think Vassell's ceiling can rival Chris Middleton's ceiling. He's already averaging 19 a night. I think as time goes on, he crafts his game. He can absolutely become a 23, 24-point game scorer. The question is, can they get more depth and talent around him? Because that bench is horrid. Keldon Johnson is a solid piece off the bench as that wing guy. I don't know if he has the ceiling as what we once thought as he was a lottery pick back in the day, but I think he can give you a Caleb Martin-esque role, and be just one of those elite role players for the Spurs. But outside of him, Zach Collins, Cedi Osman, Blake Wesley, Malachi Branham, I don't know if those are guys that can really go out there and help win a championship, especially when you're starting Justin Champagnie at the wing as well. And that's the truth of this conversation, right? I think Victor Wembanyama will be a statistical anomaly for his entire career. But to be the GOAT, to be in that conversation with Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kareem, LeBron, Magic Johnson, Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, the elites of the elites, to be in that conversation, you have to win NBA championships. That is plural. You have to win multiple. And to me, with the current state in the slate of the NBA, I don't know if Wemby's going to be able to win 3 or 4 NBA titles, which would at least get him into the conversation if he's able to have a long career with excellent longevity like a MJ, like a LeBron James. So that is the truth. Can the Spurs figure it out and get a talented roster around him, or will Wemby have a LeBron-esque career track where he's hopping around to different teams trying to win those titles that he's chasing after? So predict it for me down in the comments section. How many titles will Victor Wembanyama end his career with? I think if he wants to be in the GOAT conversation, he has to win probably about 3 or 4 to even have a seat at the table, and that would have to require him being a statistical anomaly like I expect, but like LeBron James as well. If you're asking me how many rings he will win by the time his career is up, I think if I had to guess and predict it, I'll go with 2. I feel like that might even be just a little bit of a overextension, if you will, because as I know it's early and it's just the first year, but this Spurs team has a long way to go in order to compete with the Nuggets and Nikola Jokic, I don't even know what word I'm trying to find here, the Thunder, who are just rising at an increased level, and obviously the Timberwolves, who have been pretty solid this year. Unfortunately, Karl-Anthony Towns got banged up, and he's out for the year in all likelihood. That's a big bummer. The Clippers are still there. I don't know if the Spurs team can really compete in the next 4 to 5 seasons. And listen, that's not a bad thing either. It's not easy to win a championship before 25 years old. Listen, Jason Tatum's had all the success in the world in his first 7 years in the league. Still no ring, right? But maybe that changes this year. So Wemby and that Spurs team, I think they have a long way to go to win titles for him to enter that GOAT conversation. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff. I cover the NBA on a daily basis over on the Bird app. So give me a follow at Nic_Rohloff. It'll be in the link. It'll be in the comments and description of today's video as well. So make sure you go follow me over there.